Hey everyone, John here from the Four Brewers podcast, and I'm back with another beer. Today we are drinking a beer from Bear Republic Brewing Company. This is them getting into the world of Brut IPA. This is actually a double Brut IPA. This is part of their challenge series. This is number 11. Like I said, this is a double Brut IPA made with Citra and Galaxy hops. And the story behind this is, I guess this is their way of saying we are branching out. We're doing something different. We're trying to stay on top of trends in beer, and Brut IPA is definitely a trend that's happening in beer. And they kind of correlate this with racing, where racing is like there's other cars on the track, and tracks are all different, and they're all doing different things, but the people on the racetrack are respectful of one another. This is their words, not mine. Respectful of one another, yet competitive, and they're always trying to, stay on top of one another. And that's kind of how craft beer works too. And in this week's episode, Jesse Friedman actually talked about that, where he actually called IPA like the craft beer, and he really likes it and encourages breweries to actually take it upon themselves to be inspired by the trends that are happening in beer and use that to their advantage, because it just pushes everyone forward. And that's kind of what they're doing here with this. But they didn't mess around with this beer. This is pretty much all late hop additions. They say it's less than 15 IBU, which is awesome. It's 8% alcohol by volume. And like I said, it's made with Citra and Galaxy hops, and they used 4 pounds of hops per barrel, which for a brewery of their size, it's pretty remarkable. That's a lot of hops. So I'm really looking forward to this. Let's open it up and check it out. Okay, so that's looking pretty awesome. It's not as clear as I would have expected for a Brut. Bruts are usually, crystal clear because you've got that enzyme in there that kind of dries everything out. And maybe I could be wrong on that. Maybe they're filtered too to be crystal clear, because the enzyme will eat up all the sugar that's left in the beer, so it's really, really dry. But I don't know how much it actually affects the clarity, so I could be wrong on that. Like I said, I've never worked with that enzyme before. But it looks nice. It's a nice pale yellow color. Got a nice, bright white head on there that is hanging out for a good amount of time. Looks really nice. Let's see what it smells like. Yeah, that's very fruit forward. That is Citra. Oh my God, that is citrus. Like all citrus on the nose. You get the typical like acid, like citrus smell you'd get from like smelling an orange, where it's like super citrus. Like you squeeze it and you kind of feel like the acid burn the inside of your nose when it. Yeah, that's what I'm getting off this. A little bit of the malt character comes through too, which I like. It's not like a white cake batter kind of aroma, but it's a nice bready kind of biscuity kind of aroma that works well with the hops. I think it smells nice and clean. This beer smells very, very clean. But like I said, it's pretty much all citrus on the nose. It's pretty fantastic. It doesn't really jump out of the glass per se, but it still smells awesome. So let's see what it tastes like. Yeah, that's really good. The bitterness is pretty low on it. It is bone dry. Finish is nice and clean. I think it's balanced very well with the dryness. You don't want a beer that's super bitter and super dry. Like that can be a little overwhelming and kind of fatiguing on your palate. This is nice. I think the higher alcohol, the 8% alcohol, helps with those the sugars that are in the alcohol. That kind of gives it a little bit of a perceived sweetness and a little body too, because it does have some body, but it is bone dry. Yeah, it's the same thing on the flavor. The citrus character really comes through. It's reminiscent of like a West Coast IPA, but not as jarring on the bitterness and not as like dank on the flavor, where it feels like the hops are almost syrupy. It's a really light, refreshing 8% alcohol double IPA. So yeah, so far so good. Yeah, again, going in for another sip. The body does stand out quite a bit. Even though it does finish dry, like it's got a nice body to it. Like they didn't skimp on the malts on this as far as just focusing solely on drying out the beer. There is some residual body left, which is really nice. Like I said before, you don't want it to be too dry and kind of lackluster, where it's just all like juicy fruit hops and no backbone or no body to back it up. This is really nice. This is very, very well done. Yeah, I like it. So according to Beer Republic, this beer is only available at their 2 tasting rooms in Ronert Park and Heldsburg. They're going to be coming out with a new challenge series beer every 30 to 45 days, which is pretty ambitious. But the cool thing about that is if one of these is a hit, they can scale it up and get it out to mass distribution. So yeah, this is awesome that Beer Republic is doing this. Like, I'm really happy to see them expanding and keeping up with current trends, because there's nothing wrong with keeping up with beer trends. Like, it's like I said, it's innovation and it's experimentation, and it gets new blood, new life into a brewery. So thanks for sending the beer, Beer Republic. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you next time.